According to Statistics Canada, 98% of employer businesses in Canada are small businesses. That's why if they hurt, we all hurt. And in today's report, I interview one small business owner who's sounding the alarm about the financial corner the federal government is backing hundreds of thousands of them into by requiring them to start the repayment of the whopping $60,000 Canada Emergency Business Account loan they received when they haven't even recovered from the COVID lockdown financial troubles that made the majority of them need that loan in the first place.
The majority of small businesses have not clawed themselves out of the debt that we've incurred because of forced closure, and any extra payment or bill that is put upon us could literally close down. I think the estimate is over 250,000 small businesses in Canada.
Can you understand what you're doing here? You're trespassing on my private property? You don't agree? Okay. All right.
Well, we are. You're going to ask to leave. Get out. 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 Get out.
Drea Humphrey here with Rebel News, and while Prime Minister Trudeau may have taken the silver spoon out of his mouth for a minute to give that announcement, plenty of small business owners consider it a slap in the face that they're going to have to pay the CEBA loan by only 18 days after the new year. If you saw our previous coverage when widespread COVID-19 measures became a new normal, then you know just how harmful lockdowns were for different sectors of the society, especially small businesses. In today's report, I meet up with one of British Columbia's lockdown-era heroes, the owner of Kitsilano's Corduroy restaurant, Rebecca Matthews, who refused to comply with a medical apartheid that would discriminate against unvaccinated patrons. Standing in the gap yet again for small businesses, today she is going to tell you how even with the government's requiring the payback on January 18th as a term loan of 5% over the next 2 years, hundreds of thousands of small Canadian businesses like hers could end up closing their doors for good. Rebecca, now during the lockdowns, you were certainly a voice for small businesses, and now you're continuing that with a fight over asking the government to give you guys more time. Tell people who are not familiar with what's happening with why you're so concerned.
So during the lockdowns and restrictions, the government offered up this loan to most small businesses, upwards of $60,000. And many businesses did not want to take it because, that putting yourself in debt is never a good situation. However, because of the mandates and the lockdowns, many of us were just forced to. We had no other option. It was either take the loan or close our business. So we took the loan like many others did, and if you paid it back by this coming December, they forgive $20,000. But if you can't pay it back, then you have to pay back the full $60,000 by 2025. However, starting January 18th, they start to term out the loan, and you have to pay it back monthly. And the concern is that majority of small businesses have not clawed themselves out of the debt that we've incurred because of forced closure, and any extra payment or bill that is put upon us could literally close down. I think the estimate is over 250,000 small businesses in Canada.
That's right. The last report that came out from the Canadian Federation of Independent Businesses did say an estimated of 250,000 businesses across the country can shut down about this. But what do you make of the government coming out and saying, it's okay, we've solved the problem. Guess what? You won't have to pay now for 18 more days. You won't have to start paying, around the new year, around Christmas time. What was going through your mind when that happened?
Well, it's a slap in the face, and it's almost like they let us down the track of like, look, we're extending it, because they what they did do is they extended the repayment for another year. So many businesses actually assumed that it was extended for another year, and only just realized now that, oh man, this is actually coming due in less than 2 months. So a lot of businesses are worried and stressed on top of everything else that we've been put through in the last few years. How much of a struggle it's been this last year. And, the debt that we've accrued because of it. People's spending habits have changed. Inflation in this country is insane. So people are not going out like they used to. Food costs, everything combined, and then to have on top of it, have the loan come due. I'm not sure that we'll make it through. I don't think it's something that we can take on at this point.
Well, I do know that Rebecca and many of the people who support her are fighters. So we are bringing the people this report to let them know what they can do at this moment. You have two things you want to talk about. One is something you've started to raise awareness, and it's called the Sovereign Square. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I made that post on Instagram saying, we're really struggling. If you can come out and support us where you can, just sharing our Instagram is another great tool. I had countless messages of support, but also messages from other small business owners that were in the exact same boat and seriously struggling. And I had this quick thought of the government should come bail us out again. And then I realized that's the last thing we want. We want this.
That's what they want.
That's what they want. And so I just thought, we just need to bring more awareness. We need to connect customers to the businesses that are in alignment and share the same values. And Sovereign Square popped into my head, and I just made an Instagram page and just let the world know, hey, I'm going to start sharing businesses that are like-minded and that are the backbone of this country, and it just sort of took off from there.
The last thing we're going to talk about is a petition that many are getting behind. Tell us about that, and we will link that in the written article for this report in the description box below, as well as Sovereign Square.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so it's CFIB. It's the Canadian Federation of Independent Businesses, and they've been an organization around for over 50 years. They were actually behind the first extension that happened for the loan, and so they've got a petition going that's backed by all the premiers in Canada, asking the government to give us another extension, because otherwise over 250,000 businesses are going to close. So they're not going to get their money back anyway. So why not extend it and give us some more time to breathe and just come out of the hole that was planned and they caused.
Well, it makes sense to me. I'm Drea Humphrey for Rebel News, and this is Rebecca Matthews, a freedom fighter for small businesses. Thanks for being back on Rebel News.
Thanks for having me, Drea.
Just like the small businesses who are the underdog, so is independent media. We don't take a penny from the federal government. We are accountable only to you and also dependent on you. If you wish to contribute to the many costs involved to bring you reports like this, please go to rebelnews.com/donate and donate what you can. We appreciate your support.